Again, I want to bring, say, to the American peoples in my continuous fight and battle against General Mills because of the racism and stuff that is constantly still that I am involved in dealing with, that they do not want the American peoples to be aware of. And one fella asked the question, what do your fight with General Mills have to do with him? And what is it that you are looking for in regards of your continuous battle and fight with General Mills? What does all this mean? And I told the young man, I said, the truth be told, in my fight and involving and dealing with General Mills, it's not just a isolated incident or something that is just an accident of some sort. My fight and battle with General Mills is involving racism. I told the young man it involves racism. It involves the condoning of racism and the practice of it. And I also explained to the young man my case and fight involving with General Mills. It do affect others directly or indirectly, because we're talking about the sick disease of racism. And to give a clear point on one I want to bring out is that I had a meeting with the call here in Kansas City. You know, it was May the 11th of '09, and there was some issues and things that was brought. It was three of us that attended the meeting. Me, Robert C. Dupree, and two others who I'm not going to mention their names, but there was issues that was brought up concerning my fight against General Mills. And unfortunately to say, you know, the call is no doubt company paid off. And what do you mean company paid off? Meaning that General Mills had came clients with the call in order to keep a lot of stuff hush hush and quiet. So and I will definitely bring this information out and let you hear for yourself. So it's not just me propaganding and bringing about a bunch of nonsense and foolishness that I'm just trying to say something to try to slander somebody. I mean, I had a scheduled meeting with the Kansas City call, and there was other incidents and things that had taken place and names that was brought up that was very interesting. But just to get to my point, talking to the call, I asked the individual, I said, well, did you or did you not say that General Mills was a client of yours? And the person said yes, she sure did. And I asked, did this particular individual say or not that it would be a conflict of interest in my cause and what I'm trying to do in exposing General Mills with my flyers and things, because I wanted something to be put off in the papers to bring forth to the American peoples and the public. Individual said it sure would. And I came to the conclusion, well, then it's obviously that it's not so much just talking about some settlement deceit or settlement or whatever it is. It's now a conflict of interest. And the other party who was also involved there, one of the editors at the call, mentioned how that General Mills had given some astronomical amount of grant monies and things that had been paid out. And keep in mind, I never said anything about this one particular individual that he mentioned, and he happened to mention community activist Alonzo Washington. And he said, okay, well, what's up? And the editor from the call said that General Mills had a check cut out for him. And I asked, well, what kind of money is a check was he talking about? He said for like $35,000. All right. So, you know, and I asked, well, what was that about? And he said, well, that was between him, General Mills, that is, and Alonzo Washington. I said, well, you know, okay. So my point I wanted to bring out is how that, you know, when companies like General Mills or General Mills in this cause of action can all of a sudden become clients with the call or paying out monies and things to keep a lot of issues and things from being addressed concerning racism. Well, even to the extent where it involves in violation of one's civil and constitutional rights, or to keep from getting assistance from folks who would normally or had been happen. Well, you know, that's another form of manipulation. And the call I want to bring out again, the Kansas City call is a publisher, and this is what I wanted to go and publish. Well, the call got up there and told me, well, hey, if these peoples are distraught about being discriminated or whatever it is, well, hey, that's on them. And I told her, I said, well, look here, well, a lot of people are afraid to come forth. And so, and because of my continuous battle and fight with General Mills, well, then I want to also bring out other incidents and things, or other prejudice, not incidents, but other occurrence that had taken place involving racism. Cole told me, well, hey, look here, if them people are they afraid, about their jobs or whatever it is, well, hey, she's not afraid to make money. It's all about the money thing. And keep in mind, General Mills never, ever even thought about becoming clients with the coal before the nationwide boycott was called on General Mills back in 2003. See, this is what I'm saying. General Mills, they know how to play and manipulate and throw out a little money here and there, and to try to keep the issue of racism from being addressed. General Mills knew for a fact that had they not continued giving monies after this boycott was called on General Mills back in 2003, between him and Alonzo Washington, and they agreed that they will give monies to the African American or the urban American community for that 3-year period of time when they was boycotted back in 2003 up to 2006. And once that time frame had elapsed, well, General Mills had already made their minds up they're not going to give another dime. But something happened. That's when this racist employee came forth with the hang noose back in 07. And again, that put General Mills back out into the limelight concerning racism before the world in the local news. So my point I wanted to bring out, General Mills knew, no doubt, had not they continued, or not continued, that is, to give monies to the community or whatever, they knew that Alonzo Washington was going to no doubt address the issue of this racist employees coming forth with a hang noose rope and still being employed down there just like he is right now. He still is employed, even though that happened back in 2007. He is still employed, and General Mills called it an isolated incident. The point I want to bring out overall to the American peoples is that we all know that racism is real, and we also know that peoples in major position in companies and things, they can buy out a whole lot of whoever and then whatever they feel they can be bought. General Mills, as I stated earlier, never, ever thought about giving monies to the call or any black organization or whichever until after the nationwide boycott was called and it was put into the limelight. Now you're talking about they are becoming, or they are rather, not becoming, but they are a client of the cause. And I, Robert C. Dupree, wanted to get a little article put into the papers to be put out where the American peoples can read it and see. Well, now it becomes a conflict of interest. And even with the community activist Alonzo Washington, he knows about my issues and fights and things, and I'm not able to get in touch with him. But hey, and keep in mind, I don't have anything against trying to help better the community or black organizations getting help and support and funds. My beef and my concern is that when General Mills can manipulate and pretend that they are helping the black community in good faith, that is, and for the issue of hiding the racism and trying to keep things on the down low, like, hey, this is not what's happening, well, then that's where it gets very skeptical and dangerous. And I told again the young man who asked the question about what does it have to do with him, your fight with General Mills, because I said when racism is being allowed to be practiced, when racism is being allowed to be condoned, when major General Mills and corporations can play the law, lie to the courts, and manipulate the system where it violates your civil and constitutional rights, it has effect on all of us, and some more than others. And I also want you to hear some of the conversation of what I'm talking about. It's not just about something that I am saying to try to slander or say anything. It was a scheduled meeting with me and the Kansas City Call, and I want you all to hear this.